Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
He's like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life.
Hello, you crazy dick fucker!
Party time!
Hello! This is Metal Edge Magazine's Another Fucking Podcast, which they say may or may not be better than a finger in the asshole, but that is debatable. There we go. We are back. Again. One more time.
One more time.
One more time. Rest in peace, Gilbert Gottfried. Rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins. That's what the 10-bell salute was at the top of the show. And that's what my horrible Gilbert Gottfried impression was. The second part of the top of the show.
I have a feeling your impression of you're playing drums is probably worse than your Gilbert Gottfried impression.
Oh, you should hear me play drums. It is something or other.
It's something like a finger in the ass.
something like a finger in the asshole. So there we go. We are here. And we are ready to have a great time. Tod Howarth from FREHLEY'S COMET and 4x and Cheap Trick. Nugent 707 will be joining us because it is going to be the 35th anniversary of the FREHLEY'S COMET record on next Wednesday, which is also the day that he is playing with a tribute to Ace Frehley at the Viper Room at my goodbye LA party. So we have
it wasn't originally supposed to be a goodbye LA party though, was it?
Yes, it was.
Oh, it was always a goodbye LA party.
It was always a goodbye LA party because I figured, you know what, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out with a bang. And but it just happened to fall on Ace Frehley's birthday.
Okay.
And then we found out just a couple of weeks ago that it's the 35th anniversary of the FREHLEY'S COMET record. So why not have Tod Howarth join us for a couple songs? And that is happening.
That's pretty awesome.
Yes, it is going to be fun.
Has Ace returned your text messages yet? Is he going to show up for a few songs?
Ace Von Johnson, no.
I find that hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that if you invited Ace Von Johnson, he wouldn't show up.
Who knows? It's Ace. You never know. He's very methodical that way. He'll just show up somewhere. So.
Just show up.
Yeah, and he'll just ride Naylor the whole way.
What are you
like a horse. About? That's like a horse.
I get what it is. I just don't understand what that has to do with Ace.
Oh, dude. And I don't know if you knew this. Since you've been gone, and we're going to get into
Since you've been gone. Sorry.
You've been gone. Behind me, you see my vintage USA V52 Telecaster. I am now an official vintage USA artist.
Congratulations.
Izzy got a guitar endorsement. Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yes.
How many hand jobs did you have to do to get that?
I took a couple shots in the mouth. I may not have bent over one or two times. May happen more at NAMM, as more things. But we'll see what happens. But no, I'm very proud.
That is awesome. Seriously though, congratulations. That is amazing. That is amazing.
Thank you.
So you had a much more productive, you had a more fruitful couple weeks than I did on the road.
I didn't inhale as much exhaust fumes as you did.
Yeah, I just, tour buses aren't as fun as everybody thinks they are. That's all I'm going to say about that. And I love travel. I love flights. Well, I shouldn't say that. I love flying the right way. I love hotels the right way. Mm-hmm. Tour buses just aren't fun. I'm too old for it. I'm too big for it. I'm too set in my ways for it. And I'm not in my 20s anymore. And you know what? Sharing a confined space that big with 9 other guys just doesn't work for me. And we'll just leave it at that. But my dog just launched off my lap. And I think my voice is now 4 octaves higher. Oh, my God. I want to think this portion. I don't know if that YouTube might be worth just looping. He just literally launched off my lap.
Oh, we can definitely.
Oh my God.
Definitely.
I want to thank the mailman for showing up at exactly this time. And now my dog. We're just let's spin this to Tito is saying hello to Todd, not barking at the mailman. I'm gonna mute and scream at the dog for a minute.
Todd, how you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing good. Izzy, can you hear me?
I can hear you fucking great. I don't know.
Oh, fantastic.
I don't know if you knew what was going on before, but we actually had to restart the show because we had mic problems, and now it's all working great. So, boom.
Oh well, at least I had a multitude of problems trying to find 2 AA batteries. You think I'd have 2 AA batteries that worked, but
Not
no.
when you need them. Not when you need them.
And I couldn't get my trackpad to work to find out the link. I'm like going, oh my God, you got to be kidding! So that's why I emailed you.
You came in at a great time because Paul was just the first part that we got rid of that we may put up in the in the deleted scenes later because we still have the video talking about the gloriousness of tour bus travel. Do you miss the tour bus?
Oh yeah.
Do you miss tour buses? Oh, by the way, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Paul, nice to meet you as well. Yeah,
now that I'm done chasing the dog and getting my testicles back to where they belong after he launched off my lap, I can introduce myself. Yes.
My dog or our dog is right here, and she's so used to my voice and the noise and music. She's like, okay, whatever, I don't care. She heard the dog like, I heard something, but I'm not getting up. Yeah, nice to meet you, Paul. Tour bus. That. Yeah, so many years of that, and then with every different band, it's a different dynamic of what to do, what not to do, and the only thing I miss about that really is that, especially with Cheap Trick, we would gamble, or actually all of us, except for Rick didn't gamble too much, but we'd gamble from after the show to the next show or next venue. We'd get to bed about 4 o'clock in the morning. But that was hilarious because we play little games of like in between or poker, card games, and we don't start out with easy quarter ante type stuff. And by the end of the game or the end of that leg of the tour, I'd be writing checks for $750. Peterson thought that was the funniest shit ever. I tell you.
Oh my God! In between, that's how it starts.
Yes,
it's a quarter a piece. All of a sudden, it's up to $1.
You can afford a quarter.
$50. Then it's up
Who
to
can't afford a quarter?
And then you get, oh my God, it's Deuce Jack. Fuck it, all in $500.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. And the guy and Cheap Trick, they're pretty cynical sense of humor. Or diabolical sense of humor, and they would just rise in their seats laughing because they knew here I am going. I've already lost my per diem, so I'm going to starve anyhow. And now here comes part of my paycheck. I'm like, you son of a bitches, But that was that. Oh,
add that to my list of things to bitch about on the road. Just the same food over and over again, over and over again. Yeah,
and I got a finicky diet. There's certain things I don't eat or won't eat and that kind of thing because I'm, just allergic to this, allergic to that, and too short to get fat and that kind of thing.
I wish I had that problem. Jesus Christ.
I saw you sucking it down there with the White Castles.
Oh, yes.
The poses you made didn't make it any better.
Oh, I know.
No.
I know. Well, dude, it's all part of the
can't
gimmick,
tell. I can't tell if that's the pose of the White Castle going in or the White Castle coming out. Because it's like the same pose both ways.
The throne pose.
Todd, I do want to get into because you got your record, your 3 CD set that is coming out.
Oh my God, yes.
We will get to that. I promise. I mean, there's no reason not to get into that because that's very important. But a week from Wednesday, you will be sitting in with a tribute to Ace Frehley, and that is going to be fucking awesome. I cannot wait.
A lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
So I think that brings us back to you lost a bet gambling, right? You couldn't pay your gambling bet, so now you're playing with ACT.
Yeah, I got to show up and look tall. Not gonna happen.
We didn't even realize, and you didn't even realize until a couple weeks ago that it was pointed out that the 27th is actually the 35th anniversary of the FREHLEY'S Comet record.
Right.
And, so we figured, fuck it, let's have Tod on to talk about the show, but talk about that because that's a big deal, especially for us Kiss geeks.
Yeah, and it really is, and I get irritated with my retention of dates, times, years, months with certain projects because it's not that there was so many of them, but there were quite a few, and I always said quite a few, but and I'm constantly reminded by fans and friends, hey, this is the date that this came out. I went, holy shit, I don't remember. I remember everything is based around girlfriends or what, and then the year and what was I wearing? Oh God, why did I wear that? And who cut my hair that year? That kind of crap. So I'm really thankful for the people that pointed out, including you, that hey, 35 years in this album, and it's amazing. At one point, it's amazing how much time has passed, and another point, I'm not surprised at all how much time has passed because I've got a 16-year-old grandson.
Oh wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, that's
so why don't we start with how did the Ace gig come about? Was it? I mean, because I know he got signed through Eddie Trunk, signed Ace to Megaforce. Was the band already in place, or was Ace? Did you guys get put together afterwards, and how did that all come about?
Well, loosely, John had helped Ace assemble the band with Arthur Stead on keyboards, of course, Richie Scarlett, playing guitar, and Anton and John and Ace. And at one point, I guess after they had signed the record deal, I'm not sure when it came to play, but I was on tour with Cheap Trick doing their keyboards, and John Regan was on tour with John Waite doing the I Ain't Missing You at All tour, Yeah. And so we said, we were on tour together, and I kept listening to their sound checks going, God, and I love bass and drums. And so I kept listening to sound check, and finally, one time I just walked up to John, and I said, hey, I'm Tod Howarth, play keyboards for Cheap Trick. And so you guys sound phenomenal. He goes, oh, yeah, I've been watching you up there singing and playing. Yeah, pretty good. Thank you, And we got to talking. I said, well, I'm more of a singer-songwriter, lead singer-songwriter, and I actually play more guitar than I do keyboards now, blah, blah. So he started thinking, he goes, you know what? I'm working on a project that might be a fit for you. Can't tell you who it is now, but let's exchange information, and I'll give you a ring in a few months or whatever it was. And I said, sure, yeah, it'd be great, So lo and behold, after that tour, later towards the end of '86, John gave me a call and said, hey, I'd like to have you fly out and audition for Ace and us. And I said, sure, I'll do that. So we coordinated with when I was going back out on a couple of Cheap Trick tours. Mm-hmm. And the first time I flew into New York. I've never met him before that. I met Gene, in '79. So that was another topic that's in my book. But it was good. It was cordial. I'm not a ripping, jamming lead player. I'm a melody man. I can play leads, but I write them. They have to be a melody, and they have to mean something. Otherwise, I'm not a neat, egotistical. Look at me play guitar. Because I don't care. But I think that Ace was more into having I think a co-lead guitar player, and John and the label were thinking, well, we need an additional songwriter's lead singer. So Ace, I don't think was overly thrilled, and so they said, well, come back again, play this, play that. So I did another time, I think a couple weeks later, and that time it clicked, and I said, okay, you're in. Let's do this, Bubba. So that's what we did. And that's, I jumped in, the part of the record was already recorded, and I jumped into the studio in January '87 and tracked a couple songs, embellished some of the other songs they had on there already. And people thought I put all those keyboard tinkly parts on the keyboard song. I never did that.
Okay.
I wouldn't play that type of keyboard sound anyhow. Mine's more orchestral, Zeppelin, and then T-Rex, saxophone. I like to have some balls to the keyboards, but that's another subject. Yeah, it was pretty whirlwind. Every time I joined a band, it was whirlwind. I was always into the fire. With Cheap Trick, with Ted Nugent, with Ace Frehley, I think I got to prepare with Ace more than anybody else. but it was always that way. That's all I knew. So I was always under the gun, and I always bit off a little more than I thought I could chew, and chased after that gauntlet, And
So,
what?
this is actually you kind of touched on this, but I was kind of curious. You guys play live; it's all in E flat, but those records are in standard. So that was already going to be like that before you joined. Do you know?
Yeah, I had never played. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. Was that? Do you know why that was a conscious decision? Because Ace had always played an E flat as well.
I'm not really sure. I mean, I have no idea why. I've never entertained before that playing in an E flat. It was always A440 for me, and singing that. And so and then when we went to go play live, they said, I'd like to tune down half a step because it's better for his voice. So I thought, that's fine. I didn't care. I think for some guitars I may have changed the style string on it, but it worked just fine for me, because that meant I got to go even higher, which was always the cool thing back in the 70s, 80s. How high can you sing? And I learned how to stretch my voice off from Steve Walsh of Kansas and Steve Marriott from Humble Pie. Those are the two of my biggest influences. But the good thing for a lot of the music is it also adds a little bit of nuts to it to bring it down, half step down. And I always like that, because I write some songs that are pretty heavy, and then as soon as I start singing, they're not so heavy anymore, because my voice isn't that type of voice, unless I'm imitating, Alice in Chains. Then I can do that, But it's just wild.
Paul, you look like you had a question.
I was probably just in pain because the dog was adjusting on my lap.
It always land right on the net.
It was a testicle shift where I was like, because that's where he likes putting his back feet. What can I say?
Is it a pit bull?
No, it's a little. I was gone for 5 weeks on the road, so he's not leaving my side at all now. He's like, I'm just gonna sit on your lap and.
Well, with those ears, he's probably been in a cave for a while, so he's very happy to see that.
That's his sonar, yeah.
Ours, the one we inherited, just the one we have now, is an American Eskimo, which is like a German Spitz, is what it is. So it looks like an Arctic fox. He's, it's got the ears up.
Nice.
He's hilarious, but now she's my dog, because she spends all the time with me. But cute pup, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. No, he's our kid. He's our little kid. He's giving me side eye now. He's like, I'm not moving.
Oh yeah, I know that one so well.
He's like, you can talk about Ace Frehley all you want. I'm not moving.
Yep. Don't care. Not listening. Just pet me.
The song Breakout. How much of that was ready for you when you came in? Because I mean, the lore of that is that was an original Kiss demo that Eric Carr had played on.
Eric Carr came up with, and Scarlett come up with, I think, some of the riffs in the lyrics, and it was, God, my memory. I think the track was done pretty well. I added guitar to it, some rhythm guitar. Obviously, I didn't play any leads on that.
Right.
And then they said, "Well, here's the vocal track." And I believe they had a demo I know they had a demo of Richie singing it. And I thought, cool voice, and completely different vocal style. But I said, that's great, because I've got a lot of bluesy background that does come out in some of my vocals here and there, depending on the song. But I just sang it, and then I didn't really even sing it a whole bunch of times. I kind of went over it and with Eddie Kramer and stuff, and then I just add some of my own stuff and my own harmonies and my own inflections, and then did the balls out stuff at the very top and the very end, where I hold it out for a long time, and they said fucking great, and the scream thing was kind of the thing where I just held away from the microphone and just came in screaming, like that, and Eddie thought that was kind of fun, and that's how that came about. Great tune.
Oh yeah. Amazing tune.
That whole one of my tragic lost. We all have the things we've lost that we can't find. I had from the first tour, from the first Frehley's Comet tour. I had a Frehley's Comet shirt that the whole band autographed. And I can't find it to this day. It's got to be somewhere in I keep saying it's got to be somewhere in my parents' house, but every time I'm there, I start digging through boxes, and I can find my library card from 4th grade, but I can't find like the Ace Frehley shirt, the Danzig shirt, like those couple.
What girlfriend were you with, or wife were you with at that point?
And
did you piss her off?
15. I was 15 years old, so I didn't piss anybody off yet. I didn't know how to piss people off.
I was learning how to do such.
I was learning how. Yeah, I was like, okay, what can I do? What could I do to annoy my future wife? Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a horrible thing.
And by the way, that list is like a 14-tome encyclopedia now.
Oh yeah, well, you've honed your craft at this point.
Now
I lost several things. One of the things I lost was an autograph from one of the survivors off the Titanic, and I'm real pissed about that. Yeah, I had that. I can't find it.
Are you an autograph collector?
No, not really. No, I don't.
That's an odd thing to have.
Yeah, well, I started reading about the Titanic when I was lucky enough to go on a cruise with my parents and grandparents to Alaska back in the 80s. Matter of fact, I was 18 years old, and I was like, what? We're going to summer to Alaska? What the hell? I want to go to the beach. But once I got there, this is fantastic. So I started reading about the Titanic, and then, of course, Robert Ballard found it in 1985, so I'd already been catching up on it. And at one point, I was on tour, and my parents went to an exposition, and they got some of the survivors were there. Of course, there were children, and my parents got a signature, and I've lost it.
Interesting.
Yeah, horrible.
I'm an autograph collector, and I'm obsessed with the Titanic. So those are two very.
See, there you go.
Yeah, I love autographs, and I love the Titanic.
Interesting fact about the Titanic. Fenway Park opened 4 months after the Titanic sank. That's how long Fenway Park has been around.
Wow, 1914.
And the Red Sox.
No, 1912.
Yeah,
1912. I'm sorry, 1912.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox have sank so many more times than the Titanic. Sorry, couldn't help. Couldn't pass up the joke.
Yeah, you will get a Pat Fontaine laugh for that. There you go.
Yeah.
So, Todd, how many songs did you bring in for the writing of that record? Did you have any?
Well, for the first one, I think I only brought in, only one or two, and Something Moved was recorded, and I should have the stuff prepared right in front of me for the, but why be prepared?
Exactly.
What I have.
If the topic's Ace Frehley, I don't have to be prepared because Izzy knows everything.
See, that's a nasty little trap till you fall into that thing. But I think it was Calling to You. It was a Calling to You and Something Moved, I think, is what we did. And I sang Breakout. And then for the next record, of course, I wrote half of the stuff, and there's a big controversy about that. Everybody thinks, I was trying to take over the Comet, make it Howard's Comet, and that just wasn't the case. It just Ace didn't have any songs ready when we decided to do the second album, and I happened to have plenty of songs ready, and that's how it came to pass, and I really wanted to have more collaboration with Ace and myself.
Was that an actual legitimate gripe or conspiracy that people had back then, or is that something that developed in the last years now that people have too much time on their hands and have nothing better to do on the internet? Just out of curiosity.
I think it's definitely snowballed after that, but I remember hearing about that a long time ago, and it struck me as so weird. Like, what? How would I compete and try to take over Ace Frehley? He's a guitar god, an icon. I was principally a hired gun, even though I was a band member. I was, all the bands I've been in, I've been a hired gun to varying degrees. And the same thing with Frehley's Comet, and until it looked like it was become a band. But no, it really struck me as real strange and I was bringing too many keyboards to the band. Like, what the fuck? What do you mean I'm bringing keyboards? I wrote one song. It was actually for Cheap Trick to do, and they passed on it, so I brought it to FREHLEY'S COMET and showed John. And but anyhow, that's how that happened.
Was that Calling to You?
No, It's Over Now.
Oh, It's Over Now was written for Cheap Trick. The only reason I kind of might have thought that is because when we were deciding which song we were going to add, I said Calling to You or Something Moved, and Alex Cain's like, dude, Calling to You because it sounds more like Cheap Trick and I can fake my way through it. Everybody's like, fuck that, dude. We're doing Something Moved.
I was happy about that because Something Moved is a fun song. Calling to You is a great song. Calling to You used to be called Megaforce, which we wrote for the movie when I was in the band 707.
Right.
And that was back in actually I wrote it with Kevin Russell, lead guitar player, and Jim McClarty, the drummer. He wrote the lyrics for it. Jim McClarty, very talented. He played guitar, keyboards, drums, piano, and he could sing too. But he wrote very good lyrics for it, and Kevin and I worked on it. And it was funny, about the same time that Kevin and I were working on songs for this, for the Megaforce, which would become Calling to You, we were listening to some tracks that came in from, at that time, all I can remember was like Kiss or somebody, and one of them was Back on the Streets. So I'm back on the streets. Yeah. And I remember hearing that and going, I think the song was offered up for us to do. And I think Paul Stanley was singing it in a demo or something. Wow. I just now thought of that, and I got to add that in the book. Hang on, add to book.
Oh, that's serious. Really quick, jump into this chat room. The chat room is flying right now, which is awesome.
Oh, good.
Scotty from Canada said, "Oh, hold on, we got to play this for Scotty from Canada."
Take off, you hoser!
He goes, "Did Rose throw the autograph in the water?" Laugh out loud. Okay, that's going.
I would have dove in after that Heart of the Ocean.
I mean, you know what? I've got a whole theory about Rose. I teased it in my Metal Edge column last week. Rose is an evil bitch, and you know what? She deserved to die, and she didn't. But there was nothing good about her at all.
It would have been better if she jumped over and the star or the Heart of the Ocean was sitting there on the edge, and the granddaughter found it, and then went back and left her family to go find all her pool boys that she was hammering all that time along. See, now that's a story.
Oh shit! Actually, Dick Chasen in the chat room says the Vinnie Vincent song "Back on the Streets."
Yes, that's right.
Vinnie Vincent. Wow.
Yeah. So I'm back, and I'm back on the streets. Going back, and I'm over you. Something like that.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen,
pulling that out of my.
He still has the pipes. I fucking.
My dog's looking at me like, "Shut! I'm trying to fucking sleep here."
Dog's like, "All I'm trying to do is sleep for the 19th hour of the day. Can you please not wake me up?" Yeah.
I need that 19 hours.
My dog gets more sleep in a day than I've had in the last 3 weeks, and yeah, exactly.
Right? They look at you like you're trying to work. Like, why don't you pay attention to me? Because that kibble isn't fucking free.
Yeah. Todd, it's funny because you're in San Diego. When we have rehearsal, guess who gets to sing your songs in rehearsal?
You? You got to tape that. I want to hear that.
Oh, no. We do not need that going out anywhere.
Well, who's we? Because, I would be very entertained by that.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I think I want to hear that.
I'm flattered. Hey, it's very rarely. I have some people in their bands. They send me cover songs they do, and I'm flattered by it. I don't care how it sounds. Yeah. I mean, it's at least they're trying. Because my chords, like in It's Over Now, and they're not easy to follow. A lot of stuff's written on keyboard, or I write on guitar, then I invert everything because I'm so bored of bar chords, unless it's a certain color note on the bass and the tonic of the melodies up there. It just bores me to tears. So yeah, a lot of people they write me, I have no idea what you're playing there. I said, well, I'll show you.
Well, I tell you what back the old version of the band back home, we used to do Words Are Not Enough. And that's
a great song.
A great song, but it's a tricky song too.
Yeah, when I first heard it, it was on. We didn't put it on the record, and then
Time out. What song? My wife was talking to me. What song?
Words Are Not Enough.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, thank you. I wanted to know what you were talking about.
When I first heard it, it's like, a lot of syncopated keyboard stuff, which I never did. Yeah. I mean, I had enough of that stuff back in, the early LA days when I was trying to make it in whatever band I was with. But then when we decided to do it for Return of the Comet with Richie Scarlett, I thought, you know what? That's a good. It was John Regan's idea. And instead of me playing keyboard, I said, look, let me just play a ticket, and then we'll change it up and kind of get more, John Sykes with it, Blue Murder. Yeah. And we just started to iron the song out, and then we had to shelve ROTC because of a couple of different reasons, the cootie being one of them. But it was a fun song. It is a good song.
It is a great song. It is.
Can't stop tossing into the light. And they sang that pretty well on that cut.
He sang it fucking great, dude. He sang it great. And it was easier because we were playing a half step down. For me, at least.
Can't stop tossing into the light. Yeah, those dogs.
What was, whose idea was it to do Return of the Comet?
That was actually a friend of ours, Tommy Higgins, who works for Aerosmith.
Okay.
And he knows John Regan, knows Richie Scarlett, and he had a long story. He had approached me a long time ago about doing some work for a certain band, which I'll leave it at this point in time. And I said, sure. So send some demos. I said, what songs do you want? So I sang along to the demos, and they got it, and they were, holy shit. Anyhow, long story short, it never worked out. And then he got a hold of John and said, look, I got an idea to do Return of the Comet. And I thought it was a very good idea. And had it been a different time, we could have really taken it a long way, but it just wasn't the right time. And the drill.
Right.
Tom is the mastermind behind, or one of the masterminds behind Classic, right?
Yeah, didn't he have some songs in there?
Yeah. Tom's one of the guys in Classic. Yeah. Okay.
And he can play guitar. I mean, he rips on guitar and he sings. When not that I was never in a sound check, but sometimes he'd do my stuff, when I was there, and I'd come up and go, damn, this sounds pretty good. I don't have to show up, which I do, but yeah, he's a great guy too. Great guy.
So, what? Go, Izzy. No, Are you on Ace? Is yours an Ace question or no?
No, it's not. Go ahead.
All right, because I was going to say, one of the things you touched on earlier that I don't play in an Ace Frehley cover band, so I have a different take on this. One of the things you said earlier that I thought was really, really interesting, you were talking about like tour buses and the chemistry of every tour bus. And you've mentioned a couple times that you were a hired gun. How hard is it adapting to the personalities? Because, I mean, anyone that knows Ace knows he's a personality. There's definitely, the Cheap Trick guys are they're very easy to get along with. I mean, I've met those guys enough. Ted's a personality. I mean, how much of a challenge is that, just adapting to those roles? Because, I mean, those are three iconic guys right there.
For me, it was never hard at all. And I say that because I was never starstruck by anybody. I always respected people and what they had accomplished because I knew it was their talent and hard work. And all I've ever done my whole life was do hard work, physically and otherwise, physically and musically, including to this day. So, then the people that had talent, I was in awe of, like, oh, great, they have talent and they made it. They've been lucky, but they also probably worked their ass off. So I always knew my place. Mm-hmm. And that even started with the band 707 when I joined that band, because they already had a song out that was, had some airplay and doing very well. I could be good for you, my. That was a good song.
Love it.
And and it was phenomenal. And so when I joined that band, we all got along, and I quickly understood all the characters, because you learn this crap when you're in cover bands. Like one of my favorite cover bands here in San Diego, of which we're doing a show at the Belly Up in August with the whole original guys, including my cousin Jason Sheff, who plays bass for the band Chicago, lead singer, no longer with them. But all those guys are personalities. So way early, you learn how to, how far you can just push some of these people, and how far you can't push others. And I was a guy that you couldn't push anywhere, because I'd just kick your ass. That's what I was. And it wasn't, they hated me, but they said that guy will probably be the first one to make it. And I kind of was, but and then they all accelerated and did their own great things. But so I learned that. And then when I got into 707, I knew that, hey, you're the low man on the totem pole. Just act accordingly, learn their trust and earn their respect, and never jump out like you think you're the king shit. I never did that with 707 until later years. And that's another long story, but then I felt, hey, this isn't even playing board now. I paid my dues. I'm not a new guy anymore. And then when I went with Cheap Trick, I was definitely, I was always hired gun and constantly reminded that on occasion, but in a playful, sarcastic way. But and I knew that with Nugent, that was very obvious, and it just was second nature. I didn't have any problem adjusting to that. And then with Ace, it was the same thing. Ace is, guitar god, iconic from Kiss. It was, one of the most brilliant marketing bands ever. And so you just keep your mouth shut and play the game. John Regan was the mastermind behind that. And whatever John says, hey, whatever you want to do, and to this day, when he says, I got this thing I want to do, John, you just settle it. I can either do it or I can't do it. I'll let you know. But you go ahead and take care of it. You can speak for me. And he does. But that was the level of trust that I gained a long time ago. So to answer the question again, it was second nature just to know where I sat.
Mm-hmm. Is there a comfort level in that? Is there a comfort level? Izzy?
Okay, so while he's handling the dog, here's another. See, Paul's here for the good questions, because he's an actual real interviewer guy, and I do my thing. But and then I'm the guy with the chat room, so I'm going to dive into the chat room again. Stephen Conley, I want to hear Todd talking about those headless Steinberg guitars he digs. What's the appeal of them?
Okay, the headless guitars. Two things. There's I have pictures of a black one that Ace was given that I'm playing live, and it's the M series model GM T1A, and it has the one pickup in the sweet spot, one EMG, and the special fader on the treble and the bass, and Ace in the studio said, "Here, play this," And okay, the neck is kind of thin. I'm more used to Les Pauls. That's what I learned. Les Paul TV model, fat neck. But I played it, and I was very intrigued by it because the sound was amazing. And then the trans trem, the tremolo, it doesn't bend just like it kind of bends on a cant. So it has a very distinctive sound, and it was easy to travel with because I had to fly everywhere. And then when my kids were running around down in the house when they were younger, they'd knock over my guitars. I'd be freaking, I'd be chasing them with a Ranger part trying to beat their ass. But the Steinbergers, they're indestructible virtually. So I ordered the red one, and I got the red one, and I love that thing. Well, of course, right after late or mid '88, things fell apart for me, and I departed the Comet. Because it just, that's another story that about why I left. But truth is, I just left because I had to. But get back to Steinbergers. I like the way they sound. I like the way they travel. They're very indicative of, or to my style. Everybody associates me with them. I can handle them. I know exactly how to tune them in a heartbeat, and there's just second nature for me. Not, I'm a heavy, strong rhythm player that can play some leads. So I love the way they sound. And again, traveling is good. And now I own 18 or 19 of them. and they're all of the most of them are the GM with one single pickup. I think I have 3 or 4 that have the 3 pickup. I have 2 5-string basses, 3 other basses, and then 1 12-string that is koa wood that was made for a NAMM show.
Oh wow!
And they only made 1 of them, and I bought it.
Oh wow!
Just a few years back they're all investments because they don't make any more, like I said. Right. And then I had Jeff Babbitt's from Babbitt's Bridges and Babbitt's acoustic guitars. He refinished 5 of my old stock Steinbergers in colors that I picked.
Oh, nice.
And in a stock tradition, and he did them back in New York, upstate Newburgh. So they're hopefully all investments. So when I get old, I can sell them off for my meds. Whatever I say. And some hot nurses.
Some hot nurses to administer the meds.
Give me some of that hot tail from the nurses.
Gilbert's back. Gilbert's back.
What's that about a finger in the ass? I don't know. But you know, it's funny you talk about the Steinbergers and the tremolo. One of the reasons that Eddie Van Halen loved is because you can lock the tremolo. The song "Summer Nights," it's in 2 different keys, and all he does is unlock the tremolo.
Lock it in.
Yep, that's how.
And those bridges now are over $2,000 if you can find one.
Holy shit!
Just for the bridge.
Jeez.
And yeah, they're I love them to death. I mean, I prefer to play in a Paul, you know. But now I'm so damn used to. But I played a different guitar, so I played baritone, Chandler baritone guitars that Tom Peterson turned me on to. So I've got a couple of those that are phenomenal. I've got a couple songs on the my heavy rock CD that are they're the Chandler baritones.
Nice.
I love those too.
Just one more quick guitar question, then we'll let Paul ask the
Sure.
real journalist question. Do you have one of the Ace Frehley Washburns, that pointy black and white thing?
No.
Okay. Boom.
By the way,
I never was in a position to pick one up or get one, and I think I played it and go, oh, that's nice, and I handed it right back to Ace. And, it is nice, and you know, I mean, I'm not going to slam Washburn or anything, but it wasn't an interest for me. I should have. Ace gave me a lot of things that I let go a long time ago, and I should have hung on to them. I didn't realize the importance of some of his stuff. But no, I never ended up with one of those.
As long as you didn't give away like one of his original suits from the Destroyer tour or something like that. No, I wasn't privy to that. I would have known better than that.
He gave me some remote controls for his helicopters. He kept crashing into his garage at his house, and I don't have a helicopter. Here's a remote control for it.
He gave you dead batteries. He gave you batteries that didn't work anymore. Yes.
There's a couple of double A's there for you.
These shoes fell apart. You could have them.
Put a nail in that heel, it'll be okay. Make sure it's a 10 penny.
Paul, what were you going to say before Tito decided?
What I have to say in response to you saying my questions are the journalism questions. When you guys are talking about music instrument stuff, did you see my face just physically glass over like drool? I'm like, what are they talking about? All I hear is nerd. Yeah.
Well, sometimes you got to get into that stuff.
No, I know. I'm just gonna let you guys talk about that because I'll be like that pointy one that Ace had. Yeah, that would be me. So I was glad you did that, not me. Well, my follow up to the working with other people, which is an extreme challenge. Do you find it hard to get back into your own mode? Like I want to write for Todd. Now I want to be me. Now I want to play for me. Do you find it pretty easy to flip back and forth, or is it easier for you to be that hired gun and know what's expected of you?
No, it really is a change of hats. It's only easy by virtue of desirability. or the fact that I want to get to work on my stuff because I haven't finished that one song, or that drum track that I put on there is horrible. I had to fire myself and then rehire myself the next day. But because I suck. I'm like Barney Rubble. I love to go. I'm mixing and mastering my stuff right now, and I'm discovering that I just did a little too much of this shit, but it is what it is. But no, the to do like when I did the silver DVD and show for Cheap Trick in 2000, was it 2000? That was a lot of work because it was got over 30 something songs I think I had to review and do and program the keyboards.
Oh, wow.
And so you really have to lock in, and then I have to program, for that band I was programming all the stuff in the keyboards, and then learn how to sing the background parts with the different pressure points where I've reassigned notes and stuff. So that's a mofo, so it's a task at hand. And then when I get home, and do my own stuff, I get to flow more into I'm more of kind of like a Van Halen type feel. Blue Murder meets Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, and Korn, I guess. I don't know. And then when I start singing, that all goes.
Four bands you always hear associated together. Every time I hear Korn and Alice in Chains, I hear Blue Murder. Always.
Yeah, see? I knew I wasn't the only one. Paul, you're my new brother.
Take it to Detroit.
Yeah, there was another one in there, but I can't remember if it was. It doesn't matter.
Stone Temple Pilots. You said it was Korn. Yeah, Van Halen, Blue Murder, Stone Temple Pilots,
Korn,
Alice in Chains, Korn. Yeah.
Yeah. You just blend that all up, and it's definitely a brown color.
I love it.
Let's talk about that Cheap Trick Silver show. I still listen to that to this day. I love that, and I have to get the DVD again. You said it was cool. Just a monster to get ready for, but the whole spectacle of it was pretty badass. It was phenomenal. It really was. A lot of planning went into that, and I was asked to do it. And I had, I think, like 2.5 weeks to do it. And I said, okay, yeah, I can do it, And so I just worked my butt off. And I mean, in some of the stuff, I can still, the muscle memory for like Dream Police and I got to, reprogram the keyboard to what I remember to play in certain parts. And then all the other songs, it all came back because I played with them in 1990 to 1996, and I played with them, of course, in 85 to 86, and then I played with them on and off from 2000 to 2008, and then every once in a while when they come through here in San Diego, if I'm in town, I'll jump up and do a song or two, or 7 like a couple of years ago when they called me the day of the show. Hey, you want to come to the show? Yeah, it'd be great to see you. Can you bring a keyboard? How many songs have I got to do? Thanks for the heads up. You guys are assholes. Well, hold on. Now, when you were with them, did you have to know everything in the catalog? Because
no, it's impossible. That's impossible.
Because they say they do.
And they do have very good memories. Yeah, that I will say that. When Bunny was playing with Bunny and Tom and Robin, and I mean, of course, they've been playing the songs since 1978, or beyond before that. So they've all got that muscle memory down as well. Well, I've been playing with a lot of different bands and doing my own stuff as well. So I'm like, it's like the new stuff I'm doing right now. If somebody says, "Hey, can you play that song for me?" I have no idea how to play that song. I wrote it, recorded it. I don't remember the chord, darn.
I don't know what that is.
I have to listen to the track. Go, oh yeah, it was that oddball bullshit,
Yeah.
I'm serious. So, but yeah, they have very good memories of what of what they play, and usually they'd give me a clue. Sometimes Robin would teach me parts in the bus on the way to the gig that day. Oh, sing this instead of that, and can you play this inverted here and that? I'm looking going, yeah, I'll get that right off. Yeah. He'd laugh. Sometimes I get it. I'm like,
he's asking you with a completely straight face. He's just like, yeah. You're like, yeah, I got you. Yeah.
He's all. Anyway, it was a blast playing with Cheap Trick because, I can imitate Robin pretty well in a lot of areas. Not entirely. I mean, I'm not flattering myself. It's just I can do, his voice, and that's where I learned how to do a lot of my vocals is from Robin's vocals. So it was always fun to sing with him. And I always told him, one day you retire and I retire, whatever the hell happens, we should do an acoustical tour together, and we'd have a blast,
Right.
And that's, I don't think they'll ever retire.
No, they won't. I mean, you guys should just do it because it would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. And who knows what's going to happen? I spoke to Tom just a few months after, or several months after his open heart surgery, and Robin Jr. was playing bass for Cheap Trick, and of course you all know that Dax Nielsen is playing bass. Playing drums for him, and he was taught by Bunny Carls, and I remember that when Dax was just a little kid,
Well, that's the thing that I love about Cheap Trick and is Bunny, and this is one of the things that I love about Old Kiss is Peter Criss, is they both have a swing. They both sound like nobody else. They had a feel.
It's a very distinctive feel. Most drummers that have jazz influence and go into rock or anything else, they just slam it. AJ Perro was one of them. Anton Fig. And I don't even know the backgrounds of some of the drummers that I like. Dean Castronovo, I think is phenomenal. The late Ricky Parent, who I got to play with in one of my bands in New Jersey, went on to join Enough Enough. He was phenomenal. And there's a plethora of them out there, but you're right about the swing, because they just have that. It's like when I play guitar, I play way in the backbeat. I don't like that on top of the beat shit because it drives me. I had to do the keyboards, and Cheap Trick plays on top of the beat.
Yeah.
But they can also pull it back when they want to as well, for depending on the song. But it's just for drummers. Yeah, it's. I hate my drumming. I just it's just because it's a solo record, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm doing everything myself. But this will probably be the last time because.
Your video froze, but we can still hear you. Okay, we lost your audio now too. This has been a plug.
But at least it's a flattering freeze.
It is a flattering freeze. And you know what, Paul? That's going to be the still on. I won't even pick.
And you know what? And he'll still look better than me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. While Todd is reconnecting here, I think he froze, or his AA batteries wore out.
His AA batteries died.
AA batteries went. He will rejoin
us. There go the AA's. AA's are gone.
Yeah, but
they just died.
He'll be back shortly. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
There he is.
Back.
There he is.
He's back.
What happened? Did you guys mute me? Didn't like my story or what?
No,
Izzy's got a.
Where did I leave off?
You left off, and your pose was.
You left off somewhere like this.
That was the froze. But I think you were just at the end of talking about how great the swing drummers are. So
yeah, it's just great to have that type of ability there.
Yeah. Oh, so I do want to get into your 3 CD set that is coming out soon, I believe.
Hopefully later this year.
Before we get into your 3 CD set, I have a quick thing. It was interesting because you're talking about vocals, and you mentioned Dean Castronova. And one of the things that I always remember about Dean was I was interviewed. I did a lot with Journey, and we were talking about his vocals in Journey, and I was talking to him about what a good singer I thought he was, and he's like, "I'm not a singer." He's like, "I'm a mimic." And he's like, I don't consider myself a great singer. I just know what that song is supposed to sound like, and I can make it sound like that.
That's it.
I thought that was very interesting. I was like, he's like, I don't think I'm a great singer. But he's like, I know what that song's supposed to sound like, and I can make it sound that way.
That's a quicker process when you have to get from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. I did the same thing with Cheap Trick. I'd play certain keyboards, things that I would hear and sing, and Rick would come and say, "What are you playing there?" I said, "Well, this. No, play this." Well, that's not what I'm hearing. He said, "Well, this one was recorded." Yes, sir, right away. So that's the way it is. To mimic it, what you're hearing is a good thing, because that's probably what the audience is hearing as well.
Yeah.
Good point. What was it like playing with Anton? Because I know, when we have some of those Anton songs, Chad he'll just stop and go, "Fucking Anton Fig," it just.
He was a monster, he was a monster. I gotta say, you know, when John, Anton, and I would play, just as a trio, and again, this is not taking anything away from Ace, because Ace is a different style, and he comes in, he's like a shiny bull in a china shop. You know, he knocks everything out, but he's like, wow, look how shiny he is. He's fantastic, you know, and it works. I mean, he's phenomenal. But when John and Anton and I would play, like whatever we were grooving on, like it was just, I would actually be paying attention to Anton too, going, God damn, this guy's just slam. He was powerful, and he would slam it, and it was just a phenomenal and very quiet dude, you know, very quiet, you know, but he just plowed through and just a powerhouse, you know. And the only other guy I remember, well, there's actually a lot, but Vinnie Apostie was a powerhouse. To play with him way early in my career, and I was like, holy shit, you know. But yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, I can just imagine.
Before we get to your solo stuff, I'm a ginormous Ted Nugent fan. Probably one of the biggest Ted Nugent fans out there. I actually corrected him once in an interview, and he gave me credit for it. We were talking about sexiest songs for Valentine's Day. I did an interview with him for a Valentine's Day playlist, and he's like, "So what do you think of that? You know how Ted is. So what do you think of that? What do you think of that? Huh?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, you left off like the sexiest song ever." He's like, "I don't leave anything off. It's perfect." Well, he's like, "What song did I leave off?" I'm like, "You left off Stranglehold." And he's like, "Wow." And he's like, "And I actually have Ted on tape standing corrected." I'm like, I think Stranglehold might be one of the sexiest songs ever written. Not in a strangle, not with that list of things that my wife hates about me. One of them isn't that I strangle her, but I just love that song. I mean, I love Ted Nugent. What was it like working with him? Because at this point, he's kind of got a bad rap in the year 2022 because everybody just thinks about his politics and they don't realize like the history. Like, no, Meatloaf sang for him. It was like,
yeah, you know, Ted, when I was playing cover bands and we play Cat Scratch Fever and, you know, Dog, Dog, Doggy Dog, I thought they were pretty mundane songs, but they were popular. And then when I was with 707 and we were touring with a bunch of bands on big summer fests, and I'd watch Ted play, I go, you know, Ted can play. When he feels like somebody else can play, and he's like, well, I'll show you. And he started, a couple times he sounded like Jeff Beck to me. Like, how the hell is Ted sounding like Jeff Beck? That's impossible. But he can really play well, and he's a character. Yes, he was a character that nonstop talker, and then he discovered I could drive cars, you know, in a hot rod fashion. So we were driving, you know, a lot of tour stuff, the latter part of in '84 together. But he was real. I mean, he wanted songs to be done a certain way. You know, the late Brian Howe was singing lead for us. And when I first started playing, was playing half keyboards. I had 3 keyboards and my guitar, my Marshall 100-watt stack right alongside here, which explains this here right now. I just now remember. But you know, the only way I could hear my Marshall 100-watt stack was to stand in front of the fucking thing, you know, because you stand out by the floor of that, and it was all Cat Scratch Fever, you know, each way. But he was really, but he was funny because he'd run up, like right in the middle of a show, or the middle just before it started. What are you playing this song? I play the keyboards. Oh, okay, yeah. Play guitar in it. Okay. So by the end of the tour, I was playing mostly guitar, you know, and dumping some of the keyboard stuff because he wasn't a keyboard type guy, you know. And we had the great Mark Bowles was singing first part of the tour, the European tour, and he's a great singer playing bass. And then Dave Pasquini came back in the American tour, and he actually sang Stranglehold, and he got a good bluesy voice too, playing bass. But it was a great song. It's a great song, and I'm actually good friends with Derek. I saw Derek and Dave Amato at the last NAMM show that I went to, which was in 2020. So I'm both there. But very nice. You know, great player.
Izzy, I plugged that bird into a Marshall. Wide open, it sings. I do a horrible Ted Nugent, but you get the gist.
That was Ted Nugent?
Oh, it was a terrible.
It sounded like Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
Well, I still got the Gilbert Gottfried going, and I'm still thinking about the finger in the asshole. So
Yeah, that was a fun thing.
Oh my!
Not fun. Like 6'5" doctor comes in and goes, "Yep, today's the day."
So yeah, let's talk about your
And
record.
the fingers, like my left one is just, and of course it's like
Yeah.
There we go.
brutal.
So how long? No, we did that show together. David Ledbetter, I believe, is his name. And if I fucked that up, I apologize, David. But we were talking about your 3 CD set that is coming out now. That was a couple months ago, or maybe a month ago, something like that. A couple months ago, January.
Yeah, a few months ago.
Now it's a 3 CD set, and it's 3 different styles. Like you have one acoustic, one rock, and one metal. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, it's a total of, I was going to do 32 songs, but it's going to be 29 songs now. One is heavy rock. It's all big rock. The other one is going to be kind, for lack of a better term, more like easy, not easy listening, but more contemporary, where there's not a bunch of chainsaw guitars.
Right.
There's piano, acoustic guitars. I play fretless bass, which is a bitch, by the way. But I got this fretless Steinberger that's just, I love it. And I just like to, lean on my private parts against it and play it. And it's like, oh man, but it sounds phenomenal. But, and then the third CD is, some of the FREHLEY'S COMET songs that I wrote and or sang, not all of them, but I think most of them, and it's all acoustic. And a couple of fretless bass, and then I'm playing an acoustic Fender bass, and then my electronic drums, which you can tune any way you want. The reason I use electronic drums is because my new studio is kind of small, and it's just more efficient to get the sounds right off the bat. And then I'm playing acoustic guitars, and some of the drum stuff is Congo, some of it's brushes, and then I'm doing some piano stuff, slightly different orchestrations, melodies here and there, the change-ups like, oh God, what is it? Time ain't running out differently, I believe, and oh God, I can't. They're so different. And I played a couple of the versions for some fans, and they go, "Oh my God!" And then I did a whole different rendition of "It's Over Now." But I think there's about 7 or 8 of those songs. So it's three CDs together, and hopefully my book, which I'm writing here on this laptop that I'm seeing through, that will be done as well. And I'm trying to, and I'm going to do an audio book as well. I have a studio, why not? So I'm busy throughout the rest of the year, aside from all my other duties I have to do here, take care of the family's commercial real estate properties that we own.
That was the most adult thing that we've talked about this whole time. Talking adult commercial real estate that we own.
Well, I could tell my dog the fucking kibble isn't free. You can stop eating so much. Jesus. Yep.
Yeah, Paul looked like he wanted to say something. That's why I was being quiet for a second.
No, I was actually moving something in the back of my screen.
Oh, very
so that's why my eye darted.
Todd, when did you start working on this? Has this been a years process, or is this just something that?
Yes.
Okay, so
it's been quite a few years, because I had some songs written that I wanted to record, and then actually I was asked to play keyboards for the band Heart,
nice.
And at the same time that I was doing 4x8. And so I had to drop all my solo ideas and things I wanted to do and work on. I eventually passed on the Heart thing for reasons I won't go into. Just all business. But I decided to just see what I could go with 4x8, because we had some pretty good songs for that. And I used a couple songs I was going to put on the rock CD for that band. And then that took us into a couple of years. And then I was starting to get back into my other stuff, and then all of a sudden here comes ROTC, and so I took some time off to do that. I started my book, I think, in 2017 as well. I started the foreword on a plane on a vacation, actually, on the way to Hawaii. And then I started. The book goes through all my musical. It's all about music stuff when I was a kid, and then it goes up to my first cover band and the things that happened there, and then into the first big band, and then the down, and the next big band, and the down, and then the bands in between. And then I was told by some fans and friends that I should include the sexy parts in there, and I thought, that's kind of cheeseball to just talk about how great I am in bed and everything. But I thought, what the hell? I'll put them in there. So I'm going to put that at the end of the book. There'll be little asterisks like, if you want to read about this, be forewarned. They're at the end of the book. Don't go to the end of the book first, because some people can go to the end of the book.
Yep.
But there's a couple of things I could put in there. It might be entertaining.
Yeah.
But that's primarily it. It's all about my music career, and it's all quite frank and honest things that took place, and there's no, I don't slam on any of the band members. I've got stuff that I can say about everybody, and I'm not going to do that because I'm not that petty,
Well, yeah, it's like Hagar regrets saying some of the stuff he did about Eddie in his book, and I didn't think anything that he said was outlandish. It's like he was just telling what was going on.
Yeah, there's true things that happened in all my bands that were either irritating or revealing, but I feel I've got enough material that I can circumvent that so easily.
Yeah. Did you? We'll get back to that in a sec. Did you know Eddie Van Halen? Did you ever have any interaction with him?
No, I did not. But oddly enough, I had thrown my hat in the ringer to be their lead singer.
Really?
Oh, wow.
And nobody knows that. And very few people know that. Actually, there's many bands that I've thrown my hat in to do a lot of things with. And I was set up to, not set up, but pre-set up to go do an audition. And that's about the time that Diamond Dave came back.
Okay. So, wow. So this would have been, the first time that never actually happened, or that was just after or just before they, what the hell was that song? Be Wise Magic. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So
that was just before that. Yeah, so and nothing was guaranteed. It was a thing where, I could have, and there's several, cover singers that could do a great job too. Yeah. I don't think they really want somebody to look exactly like Dave and move exactly like Dave, but my range is, I could sing even some of the Sammy Hagar songs as well as the David Lee Roth songs, and I play guitar and keyboards.
And you can kick.
Yeah. So, a little stretching here. I get there. So I'm wearing my pajamas. How weak is that? I'm wearing pajamas.
Hey, man,
me too. I'm in my machine. You can tell I just got back from the road. I'm in machine shop sweatpants.
There you go. I'm not sure Izzy's wearing pants at all, but whatever.
No, he's not. Don't ask him to stand up.
I got my jorts on. Todd, how close was it? I mean, was there any?
No, I never got up there. I never got up there. I never got to meet anybody. It wasn't that close at all. My name was just thrown in there, and I could have had an opportunity to go up there and had they said yes, what have you got? I would have sent them some tracks and some video, whatever, and my resume or whatever. But and my wife Valerie, she said you'd be a perfect fit, and I had a lot of other people say you'd be a perfect fit for that band because oh, baby's crying. It's
yeah.
I was just gonna ask you. I was just gonna ask you. You get one song to audition for Van Halen. What song are you picking? Is it Jamie's Crying?
Oh my God, Jamie's Crying. I love that song. Run with the devil, oh, God Almighty, oh yeah. Fun stuff. I mean, I did it better when I was younger, but that band is one of my favorite bands. And when I saw them here at the San Diego Sports Arena in 1979, they had the stage facing the end of, because like an oval track, instead of setting at the end of the oval doing the long part, they spun the stage around, so they played to the little small arc, but they still played the San Diego Sports Arena. And one of my friends, a guitar friend of mine, lent Eddie some amps because Eddie didn't have a lot of amps, and he wanted also a bunch of all the marshals. So this guy named Tommy Asakawa, who still lives here in San Diego, he lent him his amps for the show.
Yeah, that's fucking.
Wow.
Yeah, and then when I first heard that band, I was like, "Whoa, who is this? This is unbelievable."
Yeah, dude. It's like, that's one of those things. It's like you hear that band, it's like shit's gonna change.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm when I was learning guitar, I'm playing a lot of different stuff, and I was really into Jeff Beck. Of course, I'm never going to play like Jeff Beck, but I have a lot of his type of vibrato, like and the Babies, Wally Stalker. I have a lot of that type of feel.
Yeah.
Use my, and then when Eddie came in, I went, well, I like this too, So I started doing a little bit of that, not a lot, because it's like, oh, who are you trying to be? No, just a little bit here and there, just a little bit of modern taste, that type of thing. And he was, that band, Van Halen, was very, very influential for me.
You said that. No, you had said that you were doing the LA thing, trying to find your way out here. What era are we talking? Are we talking early 70s? Are we talking mid 70s? I mean, what era are we talking about? And like, what did you see when you were out here?
That was late 70s.
Okay,
that was 79. I remember because 79. I'm pretty sure I went to see him in 79, and then late 79 or December or January 1980, I was in LA.
Okay, so you
I was living in North Hollywood. Yeah.
So you got to see all the development of what turned into the 80s explosion from the Sunset Strip.
Oh yeah. And it was I was battling with it because I wanted so much to be that type of guy, and it was New Wave was hitting it, and some of the stuff with New Wave was like, I couldn't take it, but I did like Missing Person, but there was my dog's looking at me. She wants out. What do you want out? Hey babe, can you come get Lexi? He wants out, I think. And I'm not getting up.
I'm not getting up.
So what the hell are we talking about? So I was watching the whole thing happen, and she's right there. There's mommy. Go with mom. Go with mom. Go with mom. Look, she's like, well, it's about goddamn time. I was all that, and I was with a couple bands that were real, we were original bands, and we were trying to be, badass, and we were for the times. And then I got with 707, and I loved the band 707. I was thinking, I wish it was like Van Halen, but that was never going to be. It was a whole different thing, So I always wanted to be in a heavier band like that. Yeah, I watched, the guys like Mickey Rat from San Diego. They moved up and morphed and had added different members, and became Rat, and went real big. And of course, Motley Crue and all these bands were going, oh man, this is what I want to be, in this type of style stuff, which I never got to be. I was just a gunslinger, which is, actually true to form at this point in time. I'm a licensed CCW holder in California. No, it's not. It's I have actually 3 permits in 3 different states, but and I don't regret that stuff. I mean, everything happened for a reason. I went from 707 to Ted Nugent, to Cheap Trick, and I love Cheap Trick. I always loved that band.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny you mentioned you love Missing Persons. The first band that's playing on the 27th is my other band, the Smoking Kills, and our drummer is the spawn of Bozio. He is Bozio's
kid.
Yeah.
I'm going to start a 6 degrees of separation with Izzy.
Okay, Dick Chase has been bugging me in the chat room. He wants an answer to this question.
Sure.
What did you think of Eddie Trunk's?
That wasn't me.
What did you think of Eddie Trunk's foot trick on the Headbangers Ball and the album sleeve?
Well, it was kind of an esoteric joke. It meant nothing only to us. It was uncanny that Ed Trunk could, twist his foot around like that. If I did that, I'd pop out my bad snowboarding knee in a heartbeat. It was funny. We all had a good time laughing, and Ace thought that was hilarious. I mean, Ace Ace had a great sense of humor. He was always laughing about something, and that was one of the best things about. I mean, besides his attitude at that time, his drive, and his enthusiasm, and his talent, playing guitar for Christ's sake. He had a great sense of humor, always laughing about all kinds of stuff. So he liked the Eddie Trunk thing, and then we were talking about the acorn spinning. So I just drew up a quick cartoon, and that ended up on the album. People go, "What the fuck is this? What does this mean?" And the proboscis monkey. Ace could not stop laughing at that picture when he saw it. So he had. That's the only reason it's on there, because there's no continuity whatsoever for this shit on the album, the sleeve. It was just funny. It's his sense of humor. That's all it was. It didn't mean it. Paul wasn't dead. Sorry, Paul. It was. I buried Paul. It wasn't any of that kind of stuff. It was just funny shit. I was indifferent about it. Because I looked at things a little bit differently. There are songs on there that I thought we could have replaced with rock songs or different songs or heavier songs. Yeah, I always looked at it that way, but it wasn't my band, so I shut the hell up.
Yeah,
that's a great.
But I did enjoy it, and it was funny.
We're one of those songs. I love my dolls.
Oh look, a squirrel. No, the thing about that song, had I written it, and I said this before, I would have written I Love My Dolls, but it would have been about these dolls that came to life at night and tried to kill you.
Ooh.
See, that's my imagination.
Right.
See, the doll, I love my doll, and it would have been a different melody, but dolls are evil. Little fuckers come, and they come to touch your junk when you're sleeping. They pull and tug and do stuff. They probe you probably, but the fingers.
I gotta give you some dolls.
Yeah, no shit.
But it's
wow.
It was on there, but it's neither here or there really. It's just, I mean, it is a piece of art. And also, here's something people don't. I mean, I think I told you this last time. In the middle, when I was singing the backups to Dolls, in the middle part, the section where I forget you, it's like a bridge ensemble or something. I start yodeling.
Oh, really?
As a joke, right in the vocal booth, and the booth was dying laughing. Ace was dying laughing, and Eddie and John, and they said, "Do it again, do it again." So I did it again. They left it in there, just mixed it way back. So listen to the middle part of Dolls. And it's just hilarious. I don't know why I did. Like, all the thing is Swiss, these Swiss dolls, all lined up on a wall, some missing eyeballs, some missing legs, but they all heard the yodel at the end of the day, or some fucking thing. So I started yodeling.
Oh my God, that is fucking gold. So, did you have a release date in mind, or are we still a few months out?
We're still a few months. I'm mixing and mastering now, and I'm doing that myself, which is another big mistake. And my ears, they cook easily, especially when I get, because I'm not using a multi-million-dollar studio. It's just a little tiny Tascam SD32, but I can work pretty well. I've learned things that I shouldn't have done, but I've got to go through with it now. But I'm trying to get the optimum sound out of what I did. And here's a little factoid: the drums. When I bought my electronic drum set, I didn't realize it didn't have separate plugs for every instrument. It's only stereo out.
Oh.
So I had to practice the songs, and I had to compress and mix everything in 2 stereo tracks. That's it.
Wow.
So this is a bitch. There are some mistakes and things here and there, and I had to do little punch-ins and punch-outs because I'm not a real drummer. But it's all me playing drums to click track. But it's all me. There's no vocal correction, no autocorrect or that crap. It's all me doing all of it. So I'm going back in and fixing certain things here the best I can. And I think I've got out of the rock songs, I've got over half of that mixed now. And I'm going on a trip for a couple of days tomorrow, and then I'll be back at it. Then I've got to do some practicing for these guys I'm jamming with up in LA. I don't know what the set list is. I'll have to take a look at it. But so we'll be doing that. And but yeah,
honestly, Todd, they're not practicing, so you don't have to either.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it'll be a couple months before it's there, and then I've got all the rest. Everything's recorded and done. I've just got to mix and master. I think the rock stuff is the hardest because there's so many frequencies that are buzzing around. The easy stuff and the acoustic stuff would be more fun, and I'm not getting so worked over with the years.
Yeah.
So it'll happen, but it'll be this year.
We're excited for it.
It will definitely be this year.
Thank you.
And the book, what's the timeline on the book?
I'm trying to coincide that with the same. See, I knew he wasn't wearing pants. Oh yeah, he's got shorts.
Yeah, you know what? That's a Minnesota tuxedo. Yeah.
No, it's good. I don't have the jean jacket with it. Then it would be a Canadian summer.
Right.
But there you go. And the cut-off underwear. I knew a guy that did that. That's another long story. Not the reason why I know his underwear. Yeah, but the book is. I'm trying to get the book done about the same time. I'm gonna have it professionally edited. So, matter of fact, when I get back from when I get back, I've really got to finish up. The book is done actually. In the hardback cover. The book is done. I just got to do the sexy scenes, the sexy behave, and then just re-edit or read it over again myself. Cause I keep adding stuff. And the thing about the book is not everything is sequential, because I don't remember the sequence.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing a bunch of research because it's hard to get old people to say, "Hey, do you remember?" They go, "Why are you calling me?" I say, "Fucking remember you do." I'm not gonna remember that shit. And so it's best of my recollection. Some things are out of sequence, but it's still going to be a fun read.
Well, I can't wait.
So says me.
Obviously,
So says you.
like this hour has flew by.
So says you and your dog. Your dog likes it.
And she left, so
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's wrap this up. We've been going for about an hour. But Todd, thank you so much. Just hold on. We'll say goodbye off the air. But I look forward to seeing you and finally meeting you in person.
Yes.
Well, you guys haven't met yet?
No, just via Zoom on podcasts.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Interesting.
He's a very busy man. He's got White Castles and trash in his car, and apparently some beer in a cup somewhere in glass. And that was nice. I was jealous.
Shit happens. Actually, no, that was a fine whiskey.
Ooh, nice. Now, very nice to meet you, and I'm looking forward to it.
Styrofoam cup.
There we go.
It was in a glass.
Fine whiskey in a styrofoam cup.
A glass with an actual ball of ice. Not, even though I do prefer crushed.
Wow.
Because crushed ice is the best. But
yeah, but not when you're drinking fancy bourbons and whiskeys. It's not.
It was Jameson, so it wasn't exactly fancy.
It wasn't exactly fancy.
It was.
But there is a if you go in our freezer, we have the big blocks, because those are what you want when you're a hoity-toity. I drink my alcohol straight because I don't have room for mixers.
Nice.
Yeah, very well.
Nice.
Well, so the 27th is going to be amazing. It is a tribute to Ace Frehley with featuring our good friend here, Tod Howarth, is going to be jumping in, celebrating the 35th anniversary of the Frehley record. There will be
Izzy. Who else is in the band?
Alex Kane from Life, Sex, and Death. Enough's Enough. Annie Product. Patrick Kennison from Lita Ford. We have Johnny Martin from LA Guns and Tiffany. And we have Chad Stewart from Faster Pussycat and Moto Christ and Killer Lords, who are also on the bill. We have Nerd Halen on the bill. We have a band called Vicious Licks. And my other band, which the vinyl is available now, folks.
Woo-hoo.
The Smokin' Kills. Mike Dawson and the Smokin' Kills opening the show at 7:30. So it's going to be fucking great, dude. It's going to be awesome.
So you're doing double duty.
Well, yeah,
oh yeah,
one day.
Can we expect an Izzy Presley costume change between the two sets?
There will be a costume change, because we know the Ace show is it's really a tribute to the jacket and the guitar, not the vocals, but I do my best. But what else do we got coming up? I can't remember. Is there anything else I have to pimp? No. Oh, I'm on Three Sides of the Coin this week. So, myself and Alex Kane on Three Sides.
Cool.
Talking Kiss there. So
you're going to be talking about Bon Jovi, right?
Yes, we will be talking about Bon Jovi, and let me hit the outro music here really quick, and we'll say goodbye off the air. Paul Gargano, great to have you back.
It's nice to be back.
Yay. Jesus Christ, look at those pipes, Todd. Let me tell you something.
Wow, holy cow. Wow. Someone needs to
I got skinny legs.
Tod Howarth, such a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Great to meet you, Paul.
Looking forward to meeting you at the Viper Room.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And then
Thanks, Izzy.
Now
Thanks,
that I
Paul.
know you're playing, maybe I'll show up.
Oh,
Yeah, I just have to show up to buy Izzy drinks. That's the.
exactly. So we can meet that minimum. So the fucking club makes what they have to make. And Todd, once the album's ready and the book is ready, we'll have you back on. We'll really pimp the hell out of that stuff, so we can actually have a chance to kind of read it and listen to it. You know,
I appreciate the output. I got my tracks ready and everything.
Awesome, man.
Fantastic.
They can find you online. They have a website and all that stuff.
Yeah, the website's down right now. I just haven't rebuilt it, but it's todhowarth.com. And they can find me, of course, on under my name and Instagram and Facebook, and that's another thing I've got to start working on is the website. My son was going to redesign it because he's a phenomenal designer as well, but it will be up shortly.
Awesome, there you go. And here's what we're going to say goodbye. This is actually by request. This is Craig Gass doing Gilbert Gottfried, and I'll pull my headphone out so you guys can hear it as well.
Why this is Gilbert Gottfried. You're listening to another effing podcast. Who's coming up with these podcasts? Does anybody care? No, I don't. No, fuck yourself. Yes, F black. You.
Did he say Affleck?
Yeah.